Hello and welcome to a new trip report here on the channel where we once again start our journey here from Billund Airport in Denmark. But there will be quite a few firsts for me here. I'll be flying with an airline that I have never flown with before, and I will be trying out a new aircraft type that I also have never been flying with before. So let's get going. Firstly, I need to drop off my luggage and then we need to head through security. Alright, we have just passed security and are now on our way. Well, actually not really on our way, because I already got the notification that our flight will be delayed, but I haven't really talked about our flight yet. Which will bring us to Reykjavik, which I'm quite excited about because it will be the first time that I will be flying with Icelandair, and I will also be trying out one of the new 737 MAX 8 aircraft. In fact, it will be the very first time for me on a 737 MAX, and although I do have my reservations when it comes to the aircraft type, I do also kind of look forward to trying it out and finally seeing what it's all about. But it does look like the airport is quite busy this evening. Let's see if we can't find somewhere to wait until we know where actually to head, because our gate of course hasn't been announced yet, and as I mentioned, our aircraft is delayed by 1 hour. So that's the joy of traveling from Billund Airport in peak hours. Yeah, they haven't really figured out that you need waiting areas, especially when they don't announce the gates before like 15 minutes before departure. And the few waiting areas they have are clearly not sufficient. So yeah, well, we'll just keep on walking, I guess. But luckily, after a little while, I did manage to find a place where I could sit down and wait for the aircraft while getting a little bit of liquid courage for my first MAX flight. So, looks like our aircraft has finally arrived. Unsurprising for Billund, they have not announced the gate yet, but luckily we can just look outside the windows and see where the aircraft is. Still, it would be nice if the airport would actually speed up the process. Yeah, I'm looking at the screen right now. Still not announced, although the aircraft is already at the gate. So what's the point? Alright, let's go to Iceland. Now, I was originally booked on seat 21A, but given that the aircraft is far from fully booked, I was offered a seat here in the emergency exit row, which of course means quite a bit of leg space. And as a reference, I'm 182 centimeters tall, but I guess even if you were above 2 meters tall, you would still have plenty of space here. The seats might not be the widest, but are fairly comfortable and have an adjustable headrest. Furthermore, there is a USB port so you can power your mobile devices, and although there is no onboard entertainment system, there is this little device here, which allows you to place your tablet or mobile phone so you can watch your own movies or TV shows. Very nice. Gone are the days of the onboard magazine, but we do still find an onboard menu. And the service concept of Icelandair is relatively simple. Coffee, tea, water, or a wide range of soft drinks are all free of charge and included in your ticket fare. Only snacks, meals and alcoholic beverages do need to be purchased on board. The cabin itself is nice and bright and has clearly been updated to the needs of the travelers of the 21st century. The days of the cramped traveler on board the 737 are clearly gone, and especially the quite generous overhead compartments are a nice feature. One place where we however still can see that the 737 is a very old aircraft is when we look at the windows, which are relatively small and placed quite far down on the fuselage. I did also notice the lack of Wi-Fi on board the Icelandair 737 MAX, but what is a highlight is of course the mood lighting, which we saw in action shortly before takeoff. Obviously, if you like content like this and would like to see more of it here on the channel, then feel free to leave a like. That always helps out the video and the channel, of course. And if you're new here, you're always welcome to hit subscribe. Now with that, let's continue on our way to Reykjavik. A little while after the takeoff, the cabin lights were switched on again and the onboard service began. And while the cabin crew definitely didn't seem to be in a rush with the onboard service, on a 2.5-hour flight, that of course wasn't a problem. As mentioned, soft drinks on board, and that includes tonic water, is for free on Icelandair. To my great pleasure, there is a rather large selection of gins on board. They, however, need to be purchased, and a bottle like this will set you back €9. Furthermore, I decided to try out the Icelandic cheese snack for €5 and a sparkling water, which of course was for free. The old Icelandair gin together with Indian tonic water, quite frankly, was a pleasure. The Icelandic cheese snack, well, how could I describe it best? Perhaps like a dehydrated Emmentaler? I mean, it was alright, but I would probably not order it again. So let's stick to what we know is good, a gin and tonic. And with a bit of gin in my system and nothing really else to do on the rest of the flight, it was time for a nap, before the cabin lights were dimmed again and the seatbelt sign was switched on again, because we were closing in on Iceland. Alright, welcome to Reykjavik, or should I rather say Keflavik. That's where the airport is, of course. Now, this is not the first time for me here in Keflavik. In fact, a little earlier this year I was flying to Keflavik but connecting onwards. So if you would like to see how the airport works as a hub for connecting flights, then I do recommend you checking out that trip report. It should pop up in the top right corner right now, or you can find the link to that in the video description below. But also, when you are arriving here at Keflavik, the airport is quite nice, as it doesn't really take that long to get out of the terminal, and the luggage did also arrive fairly quickly. Alright guys, with that we've reached the end of today's journey. I hope you have enjoyed this trip as much as I have. I'm now making my way into Reykjavik, where my trip will continue, and you will also be able to see parts of that. However, not on this channel, but on the channel Travel Plus Loyalty. I will of course leave a link to that in the video description below. For now, I would just like to say thank you very much for having watched this video. Of course, if you enjoyed this, then feel free to leave a like. And of course, if you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? Now, with that, thank you very much for having joined me on this trip today, and hope to see you soon in another video. Bye.